Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today. I'm Taffany and I want to welcome you to Tika's Gardens. Today I'm going to finish up some of my pots. I have something coming in the mail that I will be setting up, and I'm going to tackle any other miscellaneous garden chores that I need to get done today. So come garden with me and let's just see what we can get done.
Hey girl. Hey girl. Hey. Hey.
What you doing? If anyone can remember who was watching back in, was it maybe January or February, when I was emptying out my pots and cleaning up the area, one of my pots broke, so I replaced it with a new pot, a little bit bigger, and I have plants that I'm going to be planting today. In the new pot, I'm going to be planting a zinnia. I have the herb that I purchased a few days back. I'm going to be putting it in the blue pot along with this white vinca. So I'm going to be pulling out the snapdragons and the poppies. The snapdragons are going to just start wilting away because it's really starting to get hot here. The poppies, I read that they don't take the heat too well, but I have one that is actually growing back, so I'm going to find somewhere in the yard to put it and just experiment and see how well it does in the heat. So that's what I'm going to be doing on this side. And on the other side, I have two pots that I brought from the front porch, and I'm going to be putting some pink vincas in one and pink impatiens in the other. So let's get started with these pots. So in my new terracotta pot, I'm going to be planting this zinnia called Dreamland Ivory Zinnia. And it's a nice, good size, creamy colored flower. I saw one in the garden center and I really liked it. So I got this one. It's not in bloom, but it has the buds. But it is a nice, really pretty, creamy white, which I think will match one of the lantanas really well. So I'm trying to kind of stay in the more creamy soft colors in this, on this particular display on this side. So that is what is going in this terracotta pot. And as I said, in my blue pot, I'm going to be putting my my herb in that pot, which I explained a little bit before, and I will explain again in just a few minutes. But that herb is called common tansy. This is the poppy that is starting to grow back. I had 2 poppies in there and 2 snapdragons. One poppy is gone. It's looks like straw, but this second one is actually growing back new leaves, so that's the one I'm going to plant in the garden somewhere. So guys, I've got the pots planted up, so let's take a quick look at that. And then I have something that I want to show you that's kind of strange and yucky. But let's take a look at these pots first. Alright, first guys, we have this collection of pots. Everything else you have already seen. In the blue pot, I took out the snapdragons and the poppies because it's getting too hot and they're going to just kind of wither away. We do have one poppy that has survived. I'm going to put it in the yard and see what it does through the heat. I'm not expecting it to last through the hottest part of our season, but we'll see. We'll see if it performs as a perennial here. But let's take a look at these pots, what's in it right now. So in the center pot, I have my common tansy, which is the herb that I talked about a few videos ago. And I have Titan Pure White Vinca surrounding it. So that tansy will get up to about 15 inches. Let's see, I'm sorry. It will get... if it's in a spot that it really likes, it can get 3 feet to 5 feet. I'm going to try to keep it controlled in this pot. And also, if you remember, this can be toxic to pets. So if you have dogs that like to chew on your plants and stuff, or cats, I would not recommend it. It is a tincture that is good for various different, an herb that can be used in a tincture for various different ailments. When you're boiling the leaves, you want to use a very small amount because in large amounts it can also be toxic to humans. So if you're not an herbalist or anything like that, I would not mess with this. Tika doesn't really chew on these kinds of things, so I don't have to worry about her. But again, I say for anyone who has pets that chews on plants, don't get the common tansy because it is toxic in large quantities. In the pot next to it, first of all, this is a new pot. I actually still have the tag on it there. I have to take it off. But this is a new pot that I just got to replace the one. If you remember back during, maybe was it February or so, my pot broke when I was emptying out my pots. So I have a new one and it's a little bit bigger. So this one is a zinnia that is called Dreamland Ivory. So most of the plants over here are going to be in the creamy white or creamy yellowish kinds of tones or whites. So this is going to be more of a mild palette. And again, of course, this is one of the eugenias that is trying to come back, that was planted in the garden that I moved a few weeks ago. And that is Miss Tika relaxing because it is extremely hot and humid here now. This is the other eugenia. You can see how it's doing. And oh, by the way, guys, these new pots, I have not watered the plants. I have not done like an over-the-top watering. I have just let them live off of the water that is in the water chambers. And that's the water sensor, which I still have not put batteries in. I promised you guys I would test it and tell you how it works. And I have not gotten to it yet. I will. But the first pot here, these pots came from my front porch, so they're not new. I've had them for a couple of years. These are also terracotta pots as well. But this one is a Vinca, and it is called Titan Punch Vinca. So it's a really rich pink. And on this side, because this side is underneath the covering here near the back door, and it's going to get the least amount of sun, I have impatiens, and these are called Beacon Rose impatiens, and they're also a nice rich pink, not as rich as the Vincas, but pretty close. So the pots, like I said, I kind of kept them very simple, not a mixture of all kinds of things. So that's it for the pots. But now let me head out to the side driveway bed and show you a couple of things out here. Okay, you can see that these sun patiens are doing very good. You can see that my lilies are ready to bloom. Again, those lilies are a nice rich orange, so it will look good with these sun patiens. This is the lantana that I've told you about a few times. It is starting to bloom. So when I planted the sun patiens, I told you I did it based on the lantana, putting orange. So that is a orangey yellow center with a burnt orange outer edge. And I've had this one for a couple years, so I don't remember what the name of it is. But as I said, this is going to be my first time doing a bed of all orange flowers. So we will see how it goes. And the other thing, it's gotten so hot and humid here. Look at that fungus growing on the fence. I've never seen that before. That is yucky. Look how big it is, and it was not here yesterday, so just between yesterday and today. Ugh. So that's this bed, and that is the beautiful, beautiful lantana that you can finally see is in bloom. I'm loving it. My rose and everything are still doing good. Miss Tika, let's go back in the yard. Come on. And if you look here in the yard, the lilies have started opening, and they're so pretty. And these are the lilies that I told you I got off of Etsy, like 50 bare roots for like $9. That is the color of the lilies. So as you kind of stand here and look across, you can kind of see a sea of orange starting to form all along the walkway. See that? That's going to be so pretty once everything is all blooming together. And the other thing I'm going to show you. Oh, let's take a look here. These flowers are filling in really good. Look at that. They're looking so good. But this is what I wanted to show you, the seeds that I planted. Within a week or less, they were literally sprouting. The first things to sprout were these here. These are turnip greens. And there's 3 rows of turnip greens. And then the kale, which is this right here, started coming up. And then lastly, but not fully up, are the collards, which is here. So there's 4 rows of collards, 3 rows of turnip, 4 rows of kale, and I'm thinking I'm going to put my ginger right in this section here. So yeah, the seedlings are up. And the herbs are doing great. The alyssum is nice and full. And the tomatoes, I picked my first little tomato yesterday. My patio tomatoes are doing the best, as you can see. The bell peppers. There's a bell pepper in there with a bunch of little ones ready to form. And there's a few bell peppers on here. You can see them under there. So things are coming along. And I am so happy that I got all the smaller pots done. I now have to take care of the ones up against that fence area where you enter the yard. And I'm leaning towards getting some standing pots, freestanding pots. So I really need to get that tag off of that pot. But in the meantime, everything's potted up. And I've been having a change of heart with this section over here. This lower petalum is 3 years old and it just has not grown. And I'm thinking of taking it out. Maybe getting another one and putting it somewhere, or putting this somewhere to kind of rehab it and see if I can get it to grow. But I've been thinking of putting something here that will provide some vertical height. So instead of all low growing things, something that would provide a vertical height, something weeping or whatever, but nothing that's going to get really, 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 you know, big. Not a really tall tree, but just like a mini dwarf tree with maybe a weeping habit of some type. I've been looking at some things and I'm not sure what I'm going to get, but I really think this area needs height. It seems like that's it, that it's lacking something with height to it. And so that's what I'm thinking for this. But boxwoods are doing good. The sun pations out here are doing good. But when midday comes around, which a lot of plants tend to do, I've noticed here, is kind of wilts a little bit. Like the flowers look good, but the leaves kind of wilt. Like they're saying this is just too hot. And now this is just the end of April and they're doing that. So imagine what it's going to be like July and August here. But that is what's going on in the garden. Lots of pretty things blooming. I've got to get my hanging baskets done as well. This is just the neatest little plant. Look at that. So pretty and so unique. And I still don't remember what it's called. I'm going to have to go into the house and go through my tags so I can see if I can find the tag for that one. And Miss Tika keeps lying in the middle of my yarrow. So as you can see, it's just kind of lying sideways and just flat in the center. So I don't know why she likes to lay there, but she does. So guys, that is everything, some of the neatest things that are blooming or getting ready to bloom in the garden right now. And I am going to have to put together a package that I have. So I will show you that in just a little bit. I'm going to kind of get everything set up and come back out and I will show you what I have for the patio. And we'll get working on that. All right, I will be right back, guys. All right, guys. I'm gonna get this poppy put into the ground somewhere here in the yard. I'm not sure where. I'm thinking somewhere along the back fence there. I've read that they don't take the heat here too well. But, you know, I don't know. You never know. And I've never grown poppies before. This was my first year actually ever using poppies. So I am going to give it a shot. See if it survives the hot Texas heat of the summer. So let's find a spot for it. And then let's just get it in the ground. All right. Let's head to the back here. And let's see where we could put it. Maybe just kind of stick it right there next to that rosemary. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to put it. All right, let's get it in the ground there. And then we have to get everything watered in. All right, so we've got it in the ground, so let's take a look at it real quick. All right, there it is, the new growth sticking up. So we'll see what it does through the heat. If it acts as a perennial and comes back next year or whatever, we'll find out. All right, so that's it for the poppy. All right, guys, so it is a couple hours or so later. My package is here. So I'm going to kind of open up the package and get things set up. Basically, Miss Tika, what I did was I got an umbrella for the patio here. I want to try and keep the area back there clear because we park in our garage all of the time, and coming back and forth like with groceries, my husband travels quite a bit for work. When he's coming through with his suitcases and things like that, you know, I moved some pots around to make more room for getting in and out of the door and all that. So I want to kind of keep that clear as much as possible for traffic going back and forth. I'm going in and out of the garage all of the time for my gardening supplies and stuff. So it's important to just kind of keep that open. So I want to use the patio more for sitting, although the patio is all the pavers are just kind of placed on the ground for right now. I have to have someone come out and set them in the ground, move the sprinkler head that's right here. Things like that have to be done, but I still want to use this area for now. You know, I don't want to just wait until I get that done. There's no reason to not use the pavers now. I already have them, so they're laid out, and I want to use this as a patio. So I'm going to put an umbrella right here in between the two chairs. So because it's getting hotter and hotter here, when we are at, you know, the peak heat of the day, we can open up that umbrella and use it to kind of get some shade from the sun. So that is my plan. So I'm going to get these boxes open and start getting things set up, so you can just kind of come along with me and watch as I get everything put up, and hopefully I do it right, and I think it's going to look really pretty. All right, so let me get started. Okay guys, well, the umbrella is up. Everything is put together. It was pretty simple, and like I said, I want everything here on this little patio so that we can keep the walkway open for people coming in and out with bags, luggage, whatever the case may be, because we frequent that walkway several times a day. All of my gardening supplies are in the garage, so I'm in and out, back and forth all of the time. So the umbrella was pretty simple, just attaching the pole to the base and screwing it in from the bottom of the base, and then I added the long umbrella pole into the base, and I turned the twist knobs to set it in place at the bottom, and then I put the umbrella on and made sure it clicked and locked in place, and that was it. Now the base takes sand or water. I'm not putting anything in it yet. I'm going to leave it as it is, and when my husband takes a look at it, I'll let him make that final decision on its exact position and leveling it, and then we'll put the water in it. I would prefer water because you can just pour that out and store everything. You use sand, then you have to deal with how am I going to dispose of all of this sand. So I don't want to do, I don't want that headache. We're just going to fill it with water. And so the base is supposed to be able to weigh up to about 88 pounds once it's filled with whatever. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, let me show you what the umbrella looks like. All right, guys, well, that is going to be it for today. We've got our pots done, we've got the umbrella out, and it's hot, it's humid, I'm sweating like crazy. So that's all I'm going to do for today. We'll be back out again tomorrow and at it. So I want to thank you for joining me and gardening with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.